Hey, this is Wileen Benson, and you are on the Daily Gratitude Call, where we start every day in gratitude. Gratitude is the highest energy state that we can be in. It creates a frequency of positive vibration that attracts positive experiences into our lives.
Hey everybody, this is Wileen Benson. This is our Daily Gratitude Call. And just want to appreciate everyone who's on the call today. As we were doing our rounds of gratitude, someone mentioned that she was really grateful to be on the call because there were 2 or 3 things that were mentioned even just in our rounds of gratitude. She's like, I just want to reach out to those people. And so I feel like those who are here on live, you helped create the call. And so it's going to be most beneficial, I think, for those that are on the call live because you're here, you're creating it, and you're going to walk away with much more powerful insights than maybe you would have if you weren't on the call helping to create it with the things that, with your needs, what's needed for you right now in this moment. And that kind of flows into the subject that we're going to focus on today, gratitude for sustaining power. Being on this call, I feel for me is a sustaining power. It's because it is daily. It's something that sustains me. I don't have like the ups and downs that I would have. I think that I would if I wasn't doing a daily practice, a daily GPS or daily gratitude call. So let's just go ahead and get started into our private meditation. I'm going to set a timer for 90 seconds and just grab some paper and pen, and you're going to write down whatever comes to you on gratitude for sustaining power in this private meditation, silent meditation. Those of you who are on the call live, just double check, make sure you're on mute so that we can have a silent meditation. And 90 seconds, gratitude for sustaining power, begin. All right. I'm kind of excited to see what gets to be added to what I've written down here because I feel like mine's so incomplete. 90 seconds was not enough for me to really ponder on these ideas. But first thing that came to me is there's like an energetic field between heaven and earth. We have our sustaining power of God, that we can always reach out to Him in prayer. We feel His love, so there's like a communication that happens both ways, both directions, that can penetrate that energetic field, but there's like this veil around our minds and sort of a separation between heaven and earth that, we're not in God's presence right now physically, but so, there's like this power, the sustaining power of an energetic field that kind of keeps us from being in God's presence or even remembering Him fully because of this veil that we have over our minds. But I also feel like there is some sort of a protection with that. There's, this sustaining power of God. We're able to penetrate that energetic field to be able to reach that sustaining power and feel that sustaining power through the energetic field, that veil that is surrounding the earth and surrounding our minds. And then immediately I thought of an experience that we had in our family about 3 or 4 years ago. It was on New Year's Day, and we were putting our Christmas decorations away, and my husband was just sliding the caboose from our train that was around our tree into the box, and it got about halfway in, and he just said, "Something's wrong. I feel weird." And then I went and was talking to him. He sat down, and he just started saying he couldn't remember anything, and he couldn't, he could remember me, but there was, he was questioning, even who our kids were, and it was just a really weird moment. And then about 30 seconds later, he said, "Something's wrong. I feel weird." And he asked the exact same questions again. And it was like this brain loop that for about 5 hours, he was like every 20 to 30 seconds, he started over and he would ask the exact same questions. And it was, we found out that something had crossed the blood-brain barrier, and there's this blood-brain barrier that keeps things out that are toxic and allows things in that are good. So, you can get nutrients and minerals and, all the good things to help your brain, and then and it keeps out anything that's toxic. Well, the day before, he had sprayed bleach in the shower and scrubbed down the shower, because there was some, dark spots starting to come in the grout. And so he had sprayed that down and was scrubbing it out, and that's the only thing that we could think of that would have triggered that, and that somehow that bleach had crossed the blood-brain barrier. So, that experience just came back to me as I was in this meditation about this energetic field that is across the earth and across our minds, that, yes, it keeps us separated from God physically, but I feel like there must be some sort of a protection, some sort of a, there's definitely a reason why that's there. And that, many of us, if we make choices here on earth and we didn't have that barrier, that energetic field, that we might condemn ourselves. And so I feel like there's a really great reason for us to have faith and to be able to have to reach out to God and, to have faith that He's there. There must be a really good reason for that, because we all experience it. Who else has something that they'd like to share?
I just want to say I'm grateful for the sustaining hand of God in my life, and that I have the promise that He'll sustain me in each of my righteous endeavors. So His sustaining power is really all powerful, and He comes first. And it's comforting to know, that, as a reminder, that even I am loved, and even I have access to His sustaining power, and that He will sustain me, and if I ask.
Beautiful. Thank you. 100% agree. Thank you. Who else?
I had a feeling of a very, very deep relaxation, a safety, and knowing that there is this field of all knowledge and all beings, and I have this feeling that God, and for those who don't use the word God, that which is, that which creates, that God does sustain all things, and that when I realize that, it's not like I have to ask him to do it. It's like who he is. But what's my part is to be aware of it. And this helps me to be very patient and a watchful witness of this unfolding experience, which it's like amazing. It's almost like there's this play going on, and I get to see how perfectly it's all unfolding, but only when I get in sync with that. It's very relaxing. That's the way it feels for me.
Beautiful. Thank you. That's a slightly different take on what was mentioned earlier about asking, for the sustaining power. The sustaining power is there, isn't it? And a lot of times we don't experience it because we're not in sync with it. We're either making choices in our lives where we don't, qualify for it, or our limiting beliefs keep us from experiencing it. We can actually choose by the words we speak and the beliefs that we hold dear. We can actually choose not to feel his sustaining power. Thank you. Appreciate that clarification. Who else?
Michael here. I kind of thought about, what he has done for us, God, because you think of gravity. Gravity is the sustaining power. It constantly pulls us towards, If you throw something in the air, it's going back to Earth. So sustaining power is like a continuous power or support for us. When electricity is a sustaining power, because when you turn on a light, it's an even flow, an even glow. But when it's not sustaining, it's interrupted or not on, you get flickers and you get short bursts and stuff like that. But, even a building is a sustaining power. When you build a home and you walk in it, it supports your weight, it supports the material, the furniture, the things you bring in. So it is a sustaining power to lift us above the ground, and the walls are protecting us from the weather. And so all things that we have, in one sense or another, support us or sustain us in the things that we need, in the growth that we're looking for. So that's a huge hand that the Lord has had in our life to give us everything we have that sustains and supports us.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I always love, Michael, when you share, because you as a contractor, you have such a slightly different take on things, and it brings the physical aspect of whatever it is. We might be focusing on some sort of an energetic thing, and you bring the physical aspect in. So I really appreciate what you're sharing about the sustaining power of, just a building and the engineering that went into that building to sustain it. And even now, there's earthquake proof sustaining powers. Even if there's an earthquake, a building is built to sustain itself even in an earthquake. How powerful is that? And I love also what you're sharing about electricity and the things that God has prepared to sustain us. Even before humans were on the earth, when he was creating the earth, he was putting in place these sustaining powers so that, we would have electricity, so that we would have, radio waves that we could tap into and have radio, back in the 30s. And now internet, there's a sustaining power somehow around the earth that in the air that we're able to tap into for wireless connection. How crazy is that? But God knew that's what we needed, so he prepared the earth for what we would need. Thank you. Any last shares before we shift over to our permission process?
Well, I just wanted to say, when Michael was talking, I got that when the connection is weak, the sustaining power flickers and isn't as strong. And I love that thought.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's almost always, I would say, at the receptacle end that it's weak. If there's like a short in the plug or something like that, the electricity is still there, sustaining power, but if we have a weak connection, it's going to flicker. Thank you. Appreciate you bringing that out.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Let's go ahead and shift over to our permission process. Everybody just go ahead and take a deep breath. This is our opportunity during the call to connect to our sustaining power. And we want to have our receptacle and be as strong as possible. So just let go of any thoughts or ideas that you already are thinking you need to know. Just allow yourself to be completely open to receive that full charge of electricity from your power source. One more deep breath. And I'm going to invite us to just increase that power by tilt your head just a little bit down so that you're sort of in a head bowed position so that the crown of your head is facing up towards heaven. That is the spot where the greatest connection can happen. And also as you bow your head and lift almost like there's a string pulling the top of your head up, the crown of your head up, it lengthens your neck and your heart, lift your heart so that you're one complete line. Your crown of your head chakra, your heart chakra, your root chakra where creation happens, that those are all in alignment. And just feel the light of communication from the power source, that warmth and heat, light, sort of plugging in, and feel it all the way through your crown chakra, your heart chakra, and your root chakra. And since we're focusing on sustaining power today, what is one area of your life where you feel you need sustaining right now? Maybe all by yourself you are starting to wilt a little bit and you need a little bit of a lift. You need to be sustained. It's one area of your life where you need that extra support from your power source, a little charge. And now that we know what area we're going to be working in, I invite you to understand from your sustaining power source, what is the one most important thing that you could do today that will help sustain you after this call? What is your inspired shortcut to feeling sustained in this area? And with this inspired shortcut, possibly there is a limiting belief that's showing up. What would be the limiting belief that would stop you from taking action on this inspired shortcut? And if you keep that limiting belief, what will be the outcome? What's the cost of having this limiting belief if you keep it? And now that you know what the cost of this limiting belief is, you get to choose. You can keep the limiting belief, or you can choose. You can give yourself permission to choose some new beliefs. And if you want to give yourself permission to choose new beliefs, say yes.
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 Awesome. So using this new belief, or this limiting belief, I invite you to listen to that sustaining power for more higher truth than what this limiting belief is. See this limiting belief in a completely different light, with the sustaining power shining light on it. See it for what it is, and then choose some new beliefs. See the absolute falsehood of them, and then choose some new beliefs that are more true. So let's get 2 or 3 new beliefs. Let's write those down. And with these new beliefs, I invite you to add your sustaining power, the sustaining power of these new beliefs, to the sustaining power that you're receiving from your power source, from your highest source of information, from your highest source of sustaining power. Add these new beliefs to that and intensify that light that you've felt from having that all the way through you. Bring those new beliefs in and add intensity to that light with these new beliefs. Add your will, your desire, your confidence, your commitment to this light and this new information that's given to you from the power source. And in a moment, I'm going to open it up for shares. I just want to invite anyone who is needing some extra sustaining power, even after this meditation, if you're still feeling like you need some extra support, I would love to have a 15-minute conversation with you to help you clear any obstacles that are stopping you from receiving, or if you're receiving, that are stopping you from acting on the information that you're getting. And all you have to do is just go to AskWileen.com, and that will take you directly to my calendar, and you can schedule a 15-minute call. So I want to share my limiting belief and my new beliefs. My limiting belief was I won't. First of all, it was they won't, and then immediately it was like, nope, they will if I'll ask, but that's the limiting belief, is I won't ask. And so I changed that to I will, I am, I do. And that certainly increased the intensity of the power that I was feeling. Who else has something they'd like to share?
My limiting belief was, it's too cold outside. People will wonder what I'm doing. That's so personal. But the cost of not following my next step was, well, I won't have a strong connection. My connection will be weak.
Mm-hmm.
So my new beliefs are: I am doing what strengthens my body. I am strong, and my connection to light is strong. I am sustained in each of my righteous endeavors.
I have to share also, when you said they'll wonder what I'm doing, that would be, if you can look at that as a positive, like what if somebody drives by and wonders what you're doing, and it's like, I wonder what she's doing. Look how healthy she is. I wonder what she's doing. How does that feel?
Mm-hmm. Really great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we want. We want people to wonder what we're doing so that they'll ask so we can tell them. Cool. Thank you. Any last thoughts before we end the call today?
I had one.
Okay.
On the cost, things don't get done when you sit around and live in the limiting belief. And I heard on a conference yesterday, listening to one, and he said, why are you waiting to do something in a non-existent future? And it hit me is, I don't take actions, and I probably never will because I really haven't committed to it. So I kind of think of today is the day I'm committed, and the things that I need to do or want to do are worth it for my growth. And so I wrote that in a different way. But
beautiful. I think a lot of times we let fear stop us, fear of what might happen stop us from taking action. But I love what you're saying. It's a non-existent future. Our future is non-existent. There's no reason to be afraid of the future because it's non-existent. We create our future, don't we, by taking action on our inspired shortcuts. That's what creates the future. So if we don't take action on that inspired shortcut, we're going to create something totally different than what would have been created if we had taken action. And so we are creating our future one way or the other. We can create our future by taking action on inspired shortcuts. We can create our future based on fear. We can create a future of fear based on our fear. We can create a future of procrastination based on procrastination. We can create a future based on our limiting beliefs, or we can step outside, give ourselves permission to step outside of our limiting beliefs, and we can create our future based on our inspired shortcuts. And to me, that's the only assurity that we have that God will have a hand in our future, is if we're taking action today on the information that we're receiving from Him, from our power source. Well,
can I add something, Wileen? Just from that was like, I am attracting and influencing by trusting and living my inspired shortcut. My inspired shortcut was to go outside and walk the 3 flights of stairs several times, because I haven't been doing that because I've moved and I don't have that same everyday walking 3 flights of stairs several times a day. So that's where that limiting belief came from. And then, and I thank you, because I am attracting and influencing by trusting and by living my inspired shortcut.
Beautiful. I love that. I'm going to put that one in the blog. That one is really powerful for all of us, I believe. Well, thank you so much, everyone who has shared. Thank you for being on the call. Your sustaining power is what helps to create this call. And even those who are listening on the podcast, your sustaining power is what keeps me doing this and posting it every day. So thank you for listening and for sharing these gratitude calls. I love you guys. Today's Friday, so we won't be here tomorrow and Sunday. Have a wonderful weekend. Continue your gratitude, practice your daily GPS, and then we'll be back on the call tomorrow or Monday morning at 7 a.m. Mountain Time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for listening, and I encourage you to tune in every day to the Daily Gratitude Call. And the Daily Gratitude Call happens live every weekday morning. We'd love to have you join. So to find out how to join live, go to my website, WileenBenson.com. Thanks for tuning in.